Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Real Talk Reacts. So, my name is Goody, or Lustful G, in the building. But I just want to say welcome back. It has been a couple of days since I last released a video. So, I thought, why not come back with a bang? Why not come back with something that will hopefully, fingers crossed, um, will bring back people. Will bring new people to the channel. So the first video that I'm going to be reacting to today is a top 10, so it's the top 10 abandoned theme parks. Now, within those abandoned theme parks, it explains why they were abandoned, but also tells you the location. So in case for all you explorers out there, if you watch my video, it will tell you exactly the location of all these abandoned places. Now, if you do like this type of content, then please give me a thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and if you're ready, because I know I am, if you're ready, then let's jump right in.
Busier than an abandoned amusement park? From the USA to Hungary, here are 10 of the happiest places turned into spooky, desolate areas. Visit if you dare.
Okay, let's go. Let's get into this.
Number 10. Gulliver's Kingdom, Japan. The Japanese are really something when it comes to business ideas. In 1997, they wanted to open an amusement park based on the famous novel by Jonathan Swift, Gulliver's Travels. Because who doesn't want to pretend they're in an 18th century English novel? Apparently not enough people.
I would love to be in one of those types of novels. I really would.
I mean, it's not really that trendy when you have Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Jurassic Park. Not only was this theme probably outdated, but the park was boring, and it was in the middle of nowhere. Well, actually not nowhere, but it was actually very close to the Aokigahara Forest, the most popular world after the Golden Gate Bridge. The village nearby was home to a doomsday cult, so besides the park, there is nothing else to draw you to this area unless you have dark intentions. The amusement park had almost no rides except a bobsled track and some interactive entertainment with people pretending to be from the legendary land of Lilliput. The center of the whole thing was poor Gulliver, who was attacked and tied to the ground, his face in a contorted, scared position. Did the developers forget this was supposed to be a fun, happy place? The fun thing is that you could lie in the palm of his hand and feel tiny. It wasn't enough to draw ticket sales, and the park was completely demolished in 2007. Number 9. Spree Park, Berlin. This place was first opened in 1969 under the name of Culture Park Planterwald. And
Just my theme parks really need like a lot of
in 1989, the park was renamed
a lot of planning, a lot of like what will work. Go to different theme parks. It's simple. Go to different theme parks, see what works,
it was full of dinosaurs
and see what doesn't.
and fun rides.
Before you start,
the fall of the Berlin Wall meant the fall of the park. The problems for the park began in 1991 when its owner, Norbert Witt, took over. He crashed a crane into a ride, killing 7 people and injuring 15 others, making this the worst carnival disaster in Germany to date. This was just the beginning. He added tons of rides and invested millions by 1997, but people just stopped going. Witt was facing
that wasn't that theme park. That was Thought Park here in the United Kingdom.
Then on top of that, he was caught trying to smuggle cocaine back into Germany inside parts for the rides, and he was sentenced to 8 years in prison.
Oh.
His son was caught in Peru and was sentenced to a minimum of 20 years.
Oh.
And so his dream of trying to reopen the park for the public failed. As for the park site itself, it's in ruins, being vandalized year after year. In 2014, the city took over and they tried to step up security, but it was no use. People report hearing strange noises coming from the park, like creaking, groaning machinery, people screaming. Urban explorers warn that if you're going to try this again, never go alone. And now for number 8. But first, if you are new
if I was in one of those sorts of things,
so you don't miss out on the latest
I'm out of there.
Number 8.
I'm leaving you in the dust. Boy, bye.
This water park was built in Sitges near the city of Barcelona, but unfortunately it didn't stay open for long. From the very start, L'Aquatic Paradis was faced with a myriad of problems. It had tons of slides and pools, and people were excited about it, but 2 years after opening, there was a tragic accident and then massive debt issues. Sound familiar? When it
Yeah.
closed in the 90s, the aquatic paradise was shut down and stories of the park became urban legend. People claim that a child died in an accident while going down a slide, and one
Oh.
story goes that another child was sucked under by the engine of the wave machine. The park was shut
Oh,
down,
see,
but the
see,
park
see,
has been
see.
far from empty. It has become a haven for
That's why I
skaters,
hate wave
teens,
machine
music
pools.
bands,
I
and whoever
hate
else
them.
wants to
I
hang out.
hate them with a
Signs are
passion.
put up to keep people out, but you know how that goes. Graffiti artists aren't really scared of those signs. More recently, police have taken over to practice their drills and keep out the counterculture. I guess it's kind of working. Number 7. Akvadroma Water Park, Russia. This complex, also known as the Indoor Complex near Moscow, was approved for construction in 1997. The idea was to have a huge center for the upcoming World Youth Games. It was an enormous undertaking as it took over an area of 43,000 square meters, with 9 floors complete with swimming pools, water slides, track and field course, offices, and a medical center. It was supposed to be much more than a water park. The Russians didn't make it in time for the Youth Games, but they kept on working on it until 2002. As you might have guessed, it didn't turn out well. All construction on the park was suspended, and 2 years later, the whole area was sold, with plans of building a shopping center on the premises. In the end, all that's left are ruins and a huge chunk of concrete. This place could have been a worldwide tourist attraction, but the idea is lost forever. Graffiti artists and editorial photographers might enjoy it. Number 6.
They
Lake
could
Dolores,
easily get
USA.
people in
This
to
water
clean it
park
up.
was
They
the
could get
first
people in
ever
to
in the
clean it
United
up.
States.
Like, I don't
It
really
used
see
to
what
be
the
a
problem
popular
is.
desert attraction, but now it is abandoned in the middle of the Mojave
To clean it
Desert
up,
in California.
invest,
It was known as Lake
get
Dolores
tourists
or
back there.
Rockahula Water Park back in the day. The name Dolores actually comes from the name of the person who built it. The local businessman, Bob Byers, wanted to build this water park primarily for himself and his family, and he decided to name it after his beloved wife. The initial planning and construction was done in the late 1950s and early 1960s. The complex was opened for the public in 1962, and it saw some steady business early on because it was located near Interstate 15. In the next couple of decades, business was booming, and the water park reached the peak of its popularity. However, things took a turn for the worse in the 80s, and the park was soon closed. The buyers had major financial issues, and finally, Dolores Byers sold the entire property in 2001, 5 years after her husband Bob passed away. She also passed away 1 month after selling the estate.
Oh,
Today, not
God
much of the
rest
old
them.
glory remains. The vast majority of water slides and attractions are no more, as they were sold to other similar water parks around the world. The wires and metal fences have been demolished and stolen, so if you want to walk around, you can do it without any problem. It does have a nostalgic feel, and now artists and
At least
photographers
it's still got
often go there
the
to get
Rockahula
some
Water
good
Park
views.
sign out the front.
Number 5.
You know, so you can like
Dunajváros Vida
go
Park,
back, take
Hungary.
photos,
This Hungarian park was very popular back in the day.
you know, and
The
just
beginnings of
relive
this
those
park go
memories
back
in
to
your
the
head from when you were
19th
younger.
century. While it was severely damaged during World War II, in the 60s and 70s the place was booming because so many people wanted to go. It was fixed up to look like an English park in 1952, but it became even more popular after the Hungarian Revolution 4 years later. For the next couple of decades, this park was awesome. However, as the 1980s approached, the cost to maintain the park grew more and more. This was happening all over, since the financial situation in all of the countries behind the Iron Curtain was far from great. As the standard of living declined, the ticket price for the amusement park got higher and higher. When communism collapsed, people found all kinds of new ways to entertain themselves since the social climate and the market changed considerably. The park was finally closed in 1993, and it stayed that way for some 20 years when it was finally demolished, leaving behind only sparse traces of its former glory. The good news is that some of the historical buildings are still preserved, and what remains belongs to an animal and botanical park. Number 4. Holy Land, USA. This attraction,
Holy Land.
located in Waterbury, Connecticut, was full of religious exhibits and Bible studies for the
Interesting.
whole family. It was big for around 30 years and attracted about 40,000 people a year, to be exact. And for a reason, because it was created for a very specific purpose: to give the faithful good, clean fun. How? By depicting biblical scenes down to a T. In the 1950s, John Greco built this park as a tribute to the Holy Land in Israel. This was an amazing feat because John Greco did it with community volunteers using recycled materials and cinder blocks. He made models of Jerusalem and Bethlehem, as well as many other biblical and holy locations, with around 200 structures total. In 1986, John Greco died, and this amusement park was left to a group of nuns to guard it and take care of it. Unfortunately, a teenager got killed in 2010 near the park, which gave rise to all kinds of ghost stories about the haunted site. Year after year, the nuns didn't do a very good job, and the park has gotten vandalized. Now you can see graffiti and broken crosses. The park was bought from the nuns in 2013, and according to the latest information, there are rumors about reviving this religious attraction.
Oh, that's
If
good they're
you're
going to bring
feeling
it back.
really disappointed
Like, that's
right now
really,
and
really
Christian
good.
theme parks are your thing, then there is a place you can go. The Holy Land Experience in Orlando, Florida, and you can get an autograph from Jesus himself. Number 3, Joyland,
Get
Wichita,
yourself down
USA.
to Orlando if you want a
This
signature
amusement
from
park was
Jesus.
started by the Ottaway family during the economic boom in Wichita. Lester Ottaway bought a steam locomotive in 1933 and wanted to build something around it, so ergo, we have Joyland. People used to come mostly in the evenings to cool off and enjoy everyone's company, especially since there was no TV. Lester Ottaway died in the 1950s, but his 3 sons didn't want to end the family business. They continued working on the park, adding more rides and wild animals like lions and deer. In the early 1970s, the 3 Ottaway brothers decided to retire and sold their park to Stanley and Margaret Nelson, who ran the park for the next 30 years. The park was eventually closed after a boy fell out of a roller coaster and guards were attacked by youths with knives. The park was slowly dying, and even though there have been a couple of attempts at renewing it, it hasn't happened. For some years, the park has been continually destroyed by vandals and taken over by nature. Number 2, Takakano-numa, Greenland, Japan. Don't let the name confuse you. This place is not in Greenland, but in Japan. This amusement park was opened back in 1973, but it was closed only 2 years later. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but official sources said that there just weren't enough ticket sales, which means that the Japanese didn't do a proper market analysis, which doesn't sound like them at all. Other sources claim that there were some deaths on the amusement park rides, and this led to the park shutting down, which definitely could be the case. All in all, the park was closed for more than a decade, and it was reopened in 1986. It lasted until 1999, and then it was shut down for good. This time it wasn't the accidents, but competition from other similar amusement parks, such as Tokyo Disneyland. Hard to compete with that. The park was abandoned.
Hard to compete with the Disneyland, right?
Nowadays, it looks eerie, and it's really hard to find it because the whole area has been taken over by lush vegetation. Greenland, indeed. Number 1, Pripyat Amusement Park, Ukraine. This amusement park really didn't have any luck. It was opened in the town of Pripyat, north of Kiev, but it didn't last long. In fact, it lasted for less than a day. Strange as it may sound, this amusement park was closed less than 24 hours after being opened to the public. When it was made, this amusement park had everything for a decent family fun. Bumper cars, a Ferris wheel, you name it. But although it was nicely conceived, the Chernobyl nuclear disaster sealed its fate, along with everything else. The park was opened on April 27, 1986, just one day after the aforementioned disaster. At the time, no one was sure what had happened, so things went on as normal. But as soon as the news spread, the park had to be shut down to evacuate the whole area. Chernobyl is located some 20 kilometers from Pripyat, so there was no way of staying there. Nowadays, the footage we have of the Pripyat park is really amazing. Everything is still there, only there are no people to enjoy all the benefits of the brand new amusement park. No fun at all, folks. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Like, that's confusing, because, like, for me, of course, tragedies happen, such as Pripyat, the nuclear explosion. And it is what it is. The theme park was open for one day. Actually, not even one day. So, you know, sometimes owners can't look after their own theme parks. That's why people need to, you know, if they're thinking about it, plan it. Plan how you're going to do it, what the theme is, how much it's going to cost to run, how much is it going to cost for the bills, the electricity. And yeah, like, it takes a lot of effort to run a theme park. Like, a theme park just doesn't just happen overnight. You've got legislation, you've got laws, you've got owners who are really passionate about opening one. You've got owners that just want to open one so they can make quick buck. And of course, innocent people were killed during these accidents, which led to these disasters, these tragedies. You know, may all the victims rest in peace. But that's my final thoughts on it. Is plan before it happens. But anyway, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. There is another video coming right after this. So I'm literally doing recording, editing, then going back into recording again for another video. And the next one is about, of course, Universal Studios in Florida, which I've always wanted to go to it and see it and be there and experience it. But until next time, from me, that's for G, aka Goody, and from this channel, Real Talk Reacts. Bye.
Late night grind, screen light on my face. I don't fake vibes, I react in real time, no chase. From the comments to the clips, I'm speaking my truth. If it's wild, if it's fire, I'm breaking it loose. No script, no cap, yeah, I said it direct. If it moves the culture, best believe I react. Real talk reacts, every take authentic. R-E-A-L, I don't ever edit the message. If it's love or it's chaos, I'm calling it facts. Press play, tap in, real talk reacts. This ain't stage, this ain't